Real estate world, a way to grow faster in investing is partnering. So partnering is one way to grow faster and stronger.
Customer experience is a huge part.
Yeah.
Some of ours, and we always come back to, I mean, we've seen so many similarities just in the print shop to construction, and now, you bring into this, and everyone that we brought in, that business owner, it's always comes back to all the same things. CRM, customer experience, knowing your number, all the same thing. So it's just cool to see that. In
real estate management, you are pretty much touching every aspect of every business: landscapers, roofers, HVAC, plumbers, all that stuff, every trade. And yeah, if you're interested in investing in real estate, what type of real estate is it? What asset class are you looking for? Is it single family? Is it multifamily? Is it commercial? If there's people that are interested in real estate and they really just want to see how it works, but they don't want to jump all feet in of buying a property or being a landlord or whatever it may be, it's like, yeah, we can definitely help you along the way and make you alleviate some good returns.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to the 11th episode of the American Dream podcast. Last week, we had Nick with Print Profit. He really dove into knowing your numbers, knowing who you're working with, and what you're selling. You definitely had a lot of good takeaways from that, so make sure you check that episode out. This week, we have Nate Cardy with 507 Capital. I've met him quite a few years ago at the campground here. We did some business with him back in the day when he was kind of in the real estate management. We rented a location at one of his locations. He's also ordered some stuff through our print shop. So we've got to kind of know him pretty good over the last, probably a couple decades.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So yeah, let's just jump right into it here. Tell us, who you are and what you do and how you got here.
Yeah, so my name's Nate Cardy. I'm with a business called 507 Capital. Kind of where I came from a small town, kind of like yourself. Got into the workforce when I was really young and started working a lot. And my dad owned some investment real estate when I was younger, so I started learning about how to do that. And then I graduated high school and moved to Rochester. Went to school. I was in school in the medical field for radiology, and I realized really quick I didn't want to do that. So I ended up dropping out of school. And my brother at the time, he had been doing real estate for a couple of years, and I had worked odd jobs that kind of involved real estate, like in plumbing, landscaping, stuff like that. And so I was like, man, it interests me. I want to check it out. And so I got my real estate license in 2018. And yeah, that's all she wrote. I've been doing it now since 2018.
Since 2018?
Yep.
Sure. What was your kind of first adventure with the management side? Were you more just like on the boots on the ground, or did you do more of the office side of it? Or?
Yeah, so I first started in like residential real estate, so like selling houses, and I did that for about a year. I got licensed. I worked for a local brokerage in Rochester for about a year, and that was where I learned that real estate management was something I liked or gravitated towards versus just sales, because the sales world can get a little dicey once in a while. So I definitely learned a lot in my first year as far as sales and what to do and what not to do.
A lot to learn in the real estate business, especially with, everyone remembers the 08 and the one. Yeah, it's always who knows what's going to happen, right? But
right.
It is kind of volatile, especially then when COVID hit and all the times there was just a lot of question marks.
Yeah.
With that stuff. So.
Yeah, it seems to go in waves. That's for sure.
So you've had a couple different big pivot points in your life, obviously. Going to school for a while and then pivoting to doing real estate and then now pivoting to doing your own thing. What was the big driver to, take that leap of faith and bet on yourself?
Yeah, so I guess the first one, I would say the first pivotal moment in my career, my real estate career, was after the first year of doing residential. It was probably 2 or 3 months in. I realized, man, this is not like what people think it is. You're not just going to make a pile of money and, you got to put a lot of time there. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it was like, I was able to sell a house like right away, actually before I was even fully licensed. So I didn't get to benefit from it fully.
Sure.
But I realized, I'm like, okay, I understood the deal. And then I went 6 months without a paycheck.
Oh, man.
And that was where I was like, man, this isn't good. You got to really put in the time. And so that's when my brother, he had been doing the real estate management for about a year. Around the same time I started in residential, he started in the management. And then I realized, I'm like, man, that's a good way to learn the real estate game, but also get a steady paycheck. And so
more guaranteed. Kind of do them alongside each other.
Yeah.
As you're doing the property management and stuff, there's people are going to sell and buy, and you're going to make those connections, and you're still going to be making that paycheck every month like you're talking, but you still have the networking opportunities there to make the sales.
Yeah. And I think that's where I started to flourish, is I was able to figure out how you can navigate sales as well as the management and making the residual income. So that was
nice little vertical integration there.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a huge first realization in the real estate world, is like, man, I spent 6 months to have a paycheck. I got to figure something out here,
Pre-wife and kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Pre-wife and kids for sure.
We'll lead you to make it by, but
Yeah.
I get that.
Yep.
So 507 Capital, tell us a little bit more about that, kind of what you guys do, and where you're at in your journey.
Yeah, so 507 Capital is syndication fund that we have, a real estate syndication fund where we focus on commercial retail investing. So we primarily invest in retail strip centers, mini malls, stuff like that. Now that I've jumped in this journey, we are trying to vertically integrate ourselves. So we do all the management in-house. We raise the money to buy the properties. We service everything, and then, communicate with our investors. And
so you're pulling
keeps moving forward.
You've learned with doing the other property management alongside with, kind of funding these deals and everything as well.
Yeah.
Be a full package, one-stop shop for people looking to invest and have it all managed.
Yep, exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
So ventures on your own. So how have you went about, learning this thing? Obviously it's new to you, but like, where'd you even begin after you kind of
Yeah.
that next pivot?
Yeah. So I've been in the real estate management world for 8 years now, 7 years, 8 years. And over that time, my brother and I have been running this property management company, and that's where I learned pretty much everything over these years. And that's when I pivoted this just a few months ago. I think I experienced a burnout.
Sure.
And then with having a new baby and stuff like that, it made me realize, what can I do to free up time and do still what I love. And so I think that's how I learned it all, is I just like, all right, I'm jumping 2 feet in. I know the business. I know what I'm doing. And then I do have a partner, and he is the one who originally started 507 Capital, and he has taught me a lot. And so,
just a couple months here.
Yeah. And I've known him for a couple of years, and he's taught me a lot in the real estate syndication space that we're in now. So I think between my expertise in management and what he brings to the table, we're good.
Definitely. Sure. And not to step on any toes, but like, how did it go talking things over with your brother and whatnot, being in business for 8 years and kind of, dropping the hammer on that whole thing?
Yeah, man, that was tough. That was probably the hardest conversation I've ever had to have in my life. And it was one of those things where, at the end of the day, I think he understood, my main goal was I was just experiencing burnout and, wasn't as happy as I used to be with what I was doing. And so he understands it.
Sure.
But it's a very tough thing to do when you've been partners for a long time and your brothers.
Yep. Still have to see each other at
Yeah.
business and still good. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think it's that part is, anything changing, right? We're still brothers, but the business side of it, is tough because he's got a business to run too.
Yeah. You were a big part of that for a long time. So
yeah. So I stayed on for a while and helped them transition, hire a new employee and transition and stuff like that, which I felt like I had to do. That was,
if you owed them that at least.
Yeah, definitely. I don't want to. Like I said, it's still my brother, and all them guys over there are still my friends. So I didn't want to leave them like high or dry or nothing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Was that a tough part? We've talked about partners in the past, with being a difficult thing. I had a bad experience. Blake has partnerships. We all have gone and been through there. Did you have any reservations with stepping back into that again, or did you have any kind of, or did you just kind of, I guess, how would you base that relationship on, or how would you know it was going to be a good fit to turning into again?
Yeah, I would say I definitely did a little bit. I thought about it, for months. I went through this, like, what am I going to do? How's this going to work? And then I kind of, my new partner, I started kind of questioning things like, hey, does he check these boxes, and does what we're doing check these boxes? And I felt comfortable with it. In the real estate world, a way to grow faster in investing is partnering. So partnering is one way to grow faster and stronger. So that's You
I
just
think it's
got to do it.
interesting to find the right partner from all the,
Yeah.
that's exactly what they say in some of these masterminds that I've been to. They say partner and give someone some ownership in the business. And I think that's a huge part. People that are rowing. If you find people that have like mind and rowing in the right direction or in the same direction, is can be very beneficial as long as everything's kind of set up front. I guess is usually what their
Right.
expectations need to be up front on all that. And then you got to move past all those inner workings and get back to work. So
Right. And that's kind of where like you said, the partnership comes in. You both have ownership stake. One of you is not just going to walk out or disappear and go do something else,
Yeah, probably. That's definitely a good takeaway because those partnerships can be dicey.
Yeah.
Done right.
Yeah, definitely.
With the 507 capital side of things, you got any big projects kind of in the works that you can talk about at all, or anything kind of really getting you excited to get things going? Or
Not too much right now. We just got back from a conference in Salt Lake City that was really, really good for me to experience and beneficial. I learned a lot about the real estate syndication world that I'm new to, and it kind of unlocked a lot of networking that we'll grow ours. Like for our next project, we'll be able to turn to people. And right now, I think it's just getting set up as vertically integrated. So we just launched our CRM on the 1st of March, so just about a week ago.
Sure.
And just getting that all settled and having tenants reach out to us and collecting rent, that kind of thing. So I've been focusing on that right now.
Most of your properties in Minnesota, or are you national? Or?
Midwest, pretty much all in Minnesota. Right now we have one in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Sure.
Other than that, yeah, we're focused on the Midwest. So Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, the Dakotas.
Sure.
Yep.
You talked about going out to the conference, and that was kind of a good networking experience. Is there any other things you're doing to kind of network with people more on the local side of things to kind of get your name out there?
Pretty much I'm just trying to reach out to local, like commercial bankers, lenders, those kind of people. Go to chamber events, stuff like just small networking events, just to get my name out there and get what we're doing out there and have people understand. So I have a few events lined up this month that I'll be attending just to network
and meeting people.
Yep.
Is there a lot of competition in the capital?
Yes and no. Yeah, there definitely is. It's definitely in the last few years gotten a lot bigger.
Kind of blown up.
Yeah. I never, looked at it that deeply until we were at this conference. And I'm like, there's a lot of people doing this and a lot of big, but it's, it's all different asset classes. This kind of thing you can do with anything. So it was really cool to see what other assets people are investing in and how it works.
How many people are doing that, like management side of things, like you're kind of doing? Is that something that's going to set you apart from the rest of the group? Or
yes and no. I would say quite a few larger funds and groups are doing the management and all that, and they have their own maintenance staff. But we're a small company, and so we're probably one of the smallest that brings that in house right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it probably gives a little bit more personal touch, or I'm assuming you guys do compared to other groups.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's nice, because if we're, looking at acquiring a property, we go there and we meet all the tenants, and then that's who they're going to deal with for the foreseeable future.
Sure.
Gets
passed off to
somebody else.
Whatever.
Yep.
And then it's not very personal, or when they need something, they can't get a hold of the right people.
Yeah, exactly.
A customer experience is a huge part.
Yeah.
As we working to some of ours, and it's I don't know. We always come back to. I mean, we've seen so many similarities just in the print shop to construction, and now you bring into this, and everyone that we brought in, that business owner, it's always comes back to all the same things: CRM, customer experience, knowing your number, all those same things. So it's just cool to see that. Yet again, that saying holds true.
Right.
Someone's got a problem that needs solved, and that's your business right there, solving people's problems.
Yep.
There's different problems for every business.
Yep.
So you mentioned some relationships that have kind of, that you've built over the years that kind of help you. Is there one that kind of sticks out, or is there some relationships, I guess, let's start back from ground zero. How did you acquire those? Was it just working with people, or did you have to, kind of put your first step forward on some of your, more mentor relationships?
Yeah. I think how I built a lot of those relationships was just in real estate management. You are pretty much touching every aspect of every business: landscapers, roofers, HVAC, plumbers, all that stuff. And so over the years, I've gained a really good network of pretty much everybody, every trade, and yeah. And so it's nice having those. I'm based out of Otana area, and a lot of my vendors are here in Rochester. But that's just the thing, is just keep meeting more people, keep calling more vendors, and getting them out there, so that way I have a vast majority of good,
Eat something.
yeah,
Something you can rely on.
right, good vendors that take care of me, and I'll take care of them too.
Yeah, definitely. Big player in today's age. It seems, there's a lot of one-way relationships where people are just looking for the handouts, or especially with you guys, obviously you're dealing with bigger scale everything, and so
Right.
you want the easy check on your, roof replacement,
Right.
repair, all those types of things. So
Yeah. And we see that exact thing a lot in our business. Like, one roofing company's like, yeah, we can fix it. Other companies like, yeah, no, you need to replace the whole thing.
yeah,
It's like, okay, who's looking out for my best interest,
we used to be in the commercial space. We used to do a lot of commercial. I used to work for a school district, so we do the same thing where we oversaw, I don't know, however many, 32 buildings in Rochester, and
Right.
you get that same type of thing. One guy's like, yeah, if it's shot, you need to replace it, and the next guy they can maybe get a few repairs.
Yeah, we can fix it up.
Definitely good to keep those in check.
Yeah.
Has it been a lot of beating them off with a stick when people are coming to you as like to be their guy and stuff, or is that?
Not too much. I'll let anybody look at a project. I think then it kind of determines what their, what scale they're at, or what they're trying to achieve, by looking at their bids or whatever it is.
Yeah, but you can really tell the company just off of that.
Yeah.
What they're all about.
Yeah. It's harder for that in like our Milwaukee property, for example. It's, you're not out there.
Yeah.
And I don't know many people out there, so it's hard to gauge what the vendors, has in their mind. Yeah, exactly.
Drive all the way else there.
Right.
Look at it yourself.
Right. Exactly.
With technology is changing everything. You mentioned CRMs. Do you see, your space evolving anymore, in the future, as far as utilizing some of that technology?
Yeah, I think so. I think one piece that, especially in our business, and I'm sure a lot of them now, is virtual assistants. That's gotten huge over the last couple of years. And we've had a couple of them at my last management company. And, that seems to be the path that a lot of people are going, because one, nobody wants to work anymore, it seems like, and they're real people, in the Philippines or India or wherever they're at. And they do some pretty good work. So that's one space. In our space, I see a lot of people using virtual assistants.
Have you ever read the book Buy Back Your Time before at all?
I haven't.
It's a good one, but he talks a lot about like auditing your time and figuring out like what your time's worth, and then, transferring that time. So like transferring it to like a virtual assistant like that. So,
Right.
If you're worth $100 an hour or whatever that be, and you're doing a bunch of $10 tasks, you're never going to build that $1 million business on all these $10 tasks. So
Yep.
being able to leverage your time and be doing the things that you should be doing instead of all those $10 tasks is definitely huge.
Yeah, and I think that's in my eyes right now, where I see it, is CRMs, really good CRMs and virtual assistants, stuff like that.
What CRM are you using? Just curious.
It's called AppFolio.
AppFolio. Is that like a pretty specific to like your industry? Or?
No, it's actually more probably geared towards like residential and multifamily.
Sure.
We were using it at the last company for the last 6 years, so I knew it really well.
Sure.
But they're probably one of the largest players in the game, and they've evolved a lot, and they continue to. And they have a whole investment side of their business, like a whole different investment CRM.
Yeah.
So that's why we went with them. Is one, I knew of the software, and two, they have a really unique investment side of the business that helps us. Yeah.
They have a lot of integrations with other things that you kind of build off of as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and like AI now is the biggest thing. And it's like, now they have a button, you press it, they'll write all your emails and respond to people, and it's crazy. Yeah.
AI is extremely intriguing.
It is.
It's I find it's great. Even think a year and a half ago, it was kind of just a little bit fresh. People aren't really sure about it. You can maybe ask a question. Now, like you said, it's getting into those. Just the exponential growth that it has is just absolutely crazy to see.
Right.
And it's pretty wild. If you're not using it, you're gonna. It's kind of like the virtual assistant thing. Like if you're not using it, I feel like you're just gonna get left.
Right. In the dust. Yeah. Yeah.
I've started to even use the like ChatGPT and stuff as a search engine instead of Google, because it just gives you, almost that personal touch and like really what you're looking for. Like you can type in, like sometimes you got to prompt it a little bit more, but it kind of narrows down your search and gives you a little bit even better result than just spamming through Google and whatnot.
Yeah, it definitely does. I don't use that too much, but at this conference I was just at, there was a seminar on it, and I was like, man, this is crazy what AI is doing, man, in general for all of our businesses, probably at one point,
Talking the other day, they have a sales one that basically do ride-alongs, and that you record the whole thing, and so like sales manager can just listen to all your calls, and the app will actually pull out like what you say or highlight specific words that you didn't say, and you can go through it in 2 minutes instead of like sitting in the car with a salesman and doing the whole ride along, which I mean is still, there's a piece to that, right, that you probably should do, but to be able to go through 10-15 sales calls and a morning walk, it's absolutely insane, and it'll tell you exactly what you need to do, so just how fast everything moves is pretty crazy.
I was actually on a call with Nick, our guest from last week, earlier this morning, and he actually used ChatGPT as like a data scraper. So he searched and pulled 100 businesses in my local area with what industry they're in, their name, their phone number, their email, and their website and everything, and it all put in an Excel spreadsheet. He just typed in like what I do and what I'm looking for, and it literally pulled it all together with the click of one button. And now I have 100 people I can contact to try and like really. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I found. I mean, it's knowing how to use that software is like the biggest inhibitor. People type in dumb stuff and you get dumb answers. It's that investigated. Like you got to know how to use it too.
And so like that's a free service, right? So like is lead generation, companies and CRMs going to start fizzling out, or how do you think they adapt to that? That's where I
either have to adapt, or there's going to be a lot more DIYers out there, right? People that are at scale still need the help because they don't have enough time to just even do it as simple as it is, like typing all that stuff out. They still need someone to kind of hold their hand. And obviously you still got to somewhat know what you're doing to be able to get to the end result, but there's definitely going to be a lot more DIYers and less people kind of looking for that need. So, I mean, you got a lead gen right at the fingertips.
It's crazy.
And then you can even ask like how you should talk to those customers that they presented you, and you can ask them how to write a business plan and everything from start to finish. It's honestly a big wormhole.
You get stuck in there for a while.
But even on the flip side too, the customer experience side of it, like, I mean, you can literally search the same thing. Like if you're looking for a screen printer, it'll just instead of Google searches, you're paying for all your, pay-per-click and service ads and all that. Like it's just going to say,
here you go.
Screen printing. Like that's what you want to use. And this is why. And that's going to be it.
I wonder when, like instead of like the Google paid per click, like the BBC, I wonder if that's going to ever kick into ChatGPT side of things.
I bet you it does.
Yeah, it's got to be. They're making money.
Hands
and fists already. They got to know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's too big of a business for them to completely like lose.
Just nothing.
Alone. So I definitely think they're gonna adapt somehow. That's a definite wormhole.
That's for sure. If someone's interested in kind of getting into the investment side of things in real estate, what's kind of their first step?
If you're interested in investing in real estate, what type of real estate is it? What asset class are you looking for? Is it single family? Is it multifamily? Is it commercial? And then go from there, finding the people in town that do that, the people around you that do that, and just talking to them, having a conversation, learning about it, doing your research, definitely. Yeah, that's huge. There's two different, right? There's like what I do, syndication, where you can invest your money with us and we'll go buy some real estate with you. Or you just go on your own and buy a house or a fourplex and start renting it out. I think it's just a lot of research is where people should start.
That should be a good starting point. With what you're doing now with kind of the fund, is that something like, is there requirements to invest into that? Or is that like, if you're trying to raise $1 million and you get like 100 grand from one person, 20 grand from another person, is that kind of how that works? Or
yeah, so we generally have like a minimum,
and
then accredited investors. What's nice about that a lot of people don't know about these funds is you can roll money from like IRAs into it and stuff like that. So it's just another way to invest. So you got all your money in the stock market, you can, and you're interested in real estate, you can, hey, I own this part of this property in so and so.
Sure.
And so and the returns are good. returns are better than your average IRA. And
I assume that's why people would go with you guys, because you guys have all the numbers and prove basically return on it.
Right.
Instead of, me just going out and buying something that I don't have the research in. You guys are the professionals and do that.
Yep. Yeah. And that's where it's, if there's people that are interested in real estate and they really just want to see how it works, but they don't want to jump all feet in of buying a property or being a landlord or whatever it may be, it's like, yeah, we can definitely help you along the way and make you
alleviate
some good returns
along the way when you're dealing with a professional that knows the numbers, can lay it out there, and you're pulling money together, obviously at a minimum, but it's not necessarily all on you to make it happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
With the crazy world that we're in with like people working from home, has that kind of changed like what commercial real estate you're looking at versus, or is it just like adapting? Because I know a lot of the buildings are getting renovated into new things and not being office space and stuff. Is that, I mean, you've been in the thick of that since COVID and everything.
Yeah, I would say office, commercial office buildings are the toughest one to be in right now. There's a lot of people in a lot of cities that are offering money to convert them to apartments and stuff like that. We primarily focus on retail. Sure. So, service businesses, Starbucks, urgent care centers,
trending in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. And small restaurants, stuff like that really hasn't seen much of a dip other than right when COVID hit. But other than that, it's
cigarette salad.
Yeah. And so that's what we focus on. So we haven't seen much of a dip in our direct space.
Sure.
But yeah, the market itself has been impacted severely by, with everybody working from home. I think that's going to change though.
Yeah.
Companies are starting to send people back to work. And I think that office market is going to be changing.
Yeah. I mean, there's something to be said about obviously going to work and being around people and having social life and cooped up. As nice as it is to work from home and not have to commute, like being able to talk to people and, have that interaction is definitely important in company morale. And obviously they saved a lot of money by not having those locations, but, it's harder to kind of keep tabs on people too when you can't see them and run around the corner and yell at them or whatever it is. So
yeah, well, that's just it. It's like, how do you keep tabs on your employees if they're working 100% remote?
Yeah, a lot more difficult.
Yeah,
that way. Why'd you guys pick the retail space compared to commercial, single family, all that? Is just the consistency, or?
That's a tough question. I feel like the way I would answer that is it's more of a 9 to 5. No weekends. You're not getting a call about a faulty toilet in the middle of the night.
People are working there 9 to 5.
Yeah. And it's retail businesses, right? So the tenants that are there, that's their business, that's their livelihood. They care about the space, they take care of the building, and people like to see it nice and the tenants respect it. Sure. So that's why we.
I haven't even thought of that, honestly, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Checks more of the boxes of why you left what you're doing to do what you're doing now.
Yeah. A lot less. Yeah. A lot less headaches and a lot less midnight calls. Yeah.
For a toilet that won't flush, that,
Yeah.
silly. That's not even.
Yeah.
I can feel your pain with the campground. I mean, I get a lot of phone calls at times. I don't want phone calls, but that's just how it goes. But
luckily you're pretty seasonal, right?
Yeah,
so at least you
6 months off, at least it's not year round like the rest of the what you're doing. But
if you go back, let's say even before you went to school, for in the medical field, and give yourself one piece of advice, what would you go back and wish you would have changed, or maybe not changed?
I guess part of me would say like don't work as hard, and not necessarily not work as hard, but don't drown yourself in work. Sure. Enjoy the little things in life. Because I think that's how I experienced burnout, was I was just too focused on work.